I'm here at the Big Apple offices of Foursquare to talk to software engineer Anoop Ranganath and lead server engineer Harry Heyman about what makes working here the best job ever. I'm here with Harry Heyman. Harry, what do you do here at Foursquare?
So I am the lead server engineer, so I have a team of 8 people, including myself, and I basically make sure that everyone on that team has clear goals and is working in a good direction, and sort of lead the engineering vision for the server side of Foursquare.
Gotcha. And for anybody who's not familiar with Foursquare, can you tell us a little bit about what it is?
Yeah, so Foursquare is a tool basically for making cities easier to use. It helps you keep in touch with your friends better and know when they're out and about and doing interesting things, and it helps you find out new and interesting things that you could do in your city. And then when you go out and do them, Foursquare actually rewards you for going to do that by getting badges and points and little toys like that, or also with real rewards like a free coffee, or you get to skip the line in a busy restaurant.
So how does Anoop fit into the day-to-day operations here?
So Anoop is actually a little bit of a bridge between the client team and the server team. My general theory for hiring engineers is if you get smart people that have done good things in the past, they'll be able to do good things for you too. Whether it's a different language or different technologies or a different problem set doesn't really matter. People that are good engineers can be good engineers on anything.
I'm joined now by Anoop Ranganath, who's a software engineer here at Foursquare. Thanks for being with us today.
No problem.
It's a very unique product, so I would imagine that there are some unique day-to-day things that you do as a software engineer for Foursquare. Can you tell us a little bit about your day-to-day?
I work on the iPhone app, and I help maintain the API for the client developers. So we have kind of our client team and our server team, and then our server team we've been growing really quickly, and they've been spending a lot of time handling that growth, and then our client team is all about new devices and packing as much functionality in there as we can.
And what kind of technologies do you guys use to develop Foursquare?
It's Scala is the programming language using the Lift web framework, and our backend storage is Postgres, and we're slowly moving that over to MongoDB.
So when somebody sees a job that requires just like a lot of different specific technologies, do you feel like you have to have a full understanding of all those, or can you jump in?
I think you can always jump in. If you've been programming for a while, then you kind of realize there are patterns. I mean, especially when you're talking about web technologies, it's like in the end they all do the same thing. A web browser sends a request and they serve up a response, and it's just what happens in between that's different. So it's usually not that difficult to ramp up on new web technologies especially.
And in your job history, you've worked at companies of different sizes. What's the difference in working like a very large company like a Google?
Yeah, so I mean, I've worked at Google, I've worked at Microsoft, and it's really tremendously different. The individual responsibility that you have in a company this small is much, much greater. At Google, I could be the best employee ever, the worst employee ever, and it's only going to have so much effect on a 10,000 person company. At Foursquare, with only 20 people, I have a huge impact on the company.
And what kind of new stuff are you working on in the future?
Oh, wow, there's all kinds of stuff. We're working on tools to make brands be able to leverage Foursquare better. We're going to work on some tools to help people plan for the future, where Foursquare will be able to suggest, hey, a bunch of your friends have been to this bar and you haven't been yet. Maybe you would like it too. Really all kinds of interesting stuff is going to come down the pipe in the next 6 months or so.
And you guys have a really robust public API. What are some of the cool things that you're seeing come out of that?
Yeah, so our API that's available to the public is the exact same API that's used by our in-house clients. And people are building games on top of our API. People are building data visualization tools on top of the API. People are building clients for mobile devices that are a little less popular. People are coming up with stuff every day that we just never would have thought of internally because we have this API that is, very powerful.
Speaking of all this growth and all the cool stuff you guys have going on, what is the best thing about working here? What makes it the best job ever?
I mean, we're working on Foursquare. It's just such an exciting product, and the space is so exciting, and the enthusiasm that our users have is just great. So, and I love the guys I work with, and I love working on the product.
Awesome. Well, Anoop, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Who wouldn't want to work there, right? But it takes more than technical skill and experience to work at a place like Foursquare. You're going to need creativity and the ability to think outside the box. Think you have what it takes? Then head to our sponsor, Dice.com, where they have thousands of available software engineering positions. Check it out. You might just find your best job ever.